Hey Basquirrel, this is Egan on CP Liana A4. I have some feedback generally for the map. I want to say that A point generally feels a bit too difficult to defend. B point feels a bit too steamrolly for attackers. And then C point generally feels okay, but I feel like the combat could be a bit more interesting. But it's probably the best point on the map so far. For A point, this building here is really strange because it's got a lot of height for defenders. Like if they want to when they're exiting, right? They're like, okay, where can I defend this first area from? Okay, well there's some height in here. Okay, well there's some stairs here, so I could kind of defend from here. Okay, I see how this could work. Where does this route lead? Oh, it leads directly to their spawn. So in 15-20 seconds I'll be completely overrun by people just exiting their spawn and taking complete control of this upper area because of how claustrophobic it is and how there's no health point pickups for defenders to take as they're leaving back to A point and stuff. Is this even a dead end? Oh no, it's not. Okay. Yeah, I would just say generally that upper building, it feels like it's a complete loss of control for red team, and it feels really weird trying to defend up here. I mean, I feel like the geometry is generally fine, and it's interesting. It feels really unique from a lot of maps. I mean, it kind of feels like Thunder Mountain a little bit with this balcony on top of the point. But yeah, and as cool as it would be to have some short battles here, it's just impossible to defend from because blue team just easily gets this doorway. So a suggestion maybe would be to remove this doorway, lower the strength of this pickup to maybe a small, and then maybe make this room a little bit bigger. So that way, defenders who are standing up here, the only way to get to them is to actually be in this area, rocket jump up top, or go through that window that I used to get up on top of here. And I feel like that'd be pretty good because it would just last, it'd make you able to last a little bit longer up on top of here, especially for medics with crossbows shooting at us, trying to keep the soldier and the demo man or a heavy alive up here. That would be kind of cool. And then inevitably they'll go down because they have a window route and a health pickup and stuff anyway. But it'd just be, it'll last a little bit longer and just make it a little bit more interesting. And I think that the room should be a bit bigger just because at the moment a lot of this map feels really claustrophobic. There's a lot of areas that are just really, really tight. It's really, really strong for demo men with pipe bomb launchers right now, or just pretty much any class that does splash damage. But a demo man is just easy peasy. So I kind of feel like if you just push this wall out this way a little bit more, it would feel like it's a bit more interesting of a space generally, because you can have people hiding behind the stairwell over here, maybe even building something back here generally, but inevitably it'll get taken down. Just make it a bit more fair for combat when it's happening here. I think that'd be really cool. I think that would help this area up here feel a lot better, but I still feel like even with all that changed, defending A wouldn't be the easiest thing in the world. At the moment, it's really weird because oh, these signs look really ugly, by the way. When defenders are exiting their area and they're trying to find okay, so blue has taken that whole building over there. Where do I go to defend the point from? Okay, well there's this upper area that I can't access. Okay, there's this area over here which has some ammo, but it's so uncomfortably close to that point. It's really difficult to aim at someone standing here, with a soldier or a pipe bomb or anything, or a sticky bomb, and you're so uncomfortably close to the doorway. I kind of wish we had some height. And I don't want to say just remove this stairwell or something. That could be okay, but it also feels really weird how if attackers start coming through these doorways, my plan of retreat is I could either completely abandon A point by going up this route and have my back completely exposed to the people who are now chasing me, or I can go back around and just face them head on. I really wish that there was just a bit better advantaged spot for defenders to encamp from. Maybe have some sort of have that same sort of balcony setup, but going on back over here too, just so defenders can kind of not use this necessarily. I wonder if that should just be like a drop down, because at the moment it's a ramp and it's just like, oh cool, oh I can't use it. So I wonder if that should just be like a drop down, because then I'd be like, oh that's probably just like, you know, a forward spawn, which it is. But if there was like a route that actually led like up into this building and back behind here, I would like absolutely choose, sorry my WP got stuck, I would absolutely choose this spot over that one, just because you got a little bit more height and it's a little bit easier. You got a little bit more options to choose from defending a point. That could just make it, you know, feel a bit more interesting on how you choose to defend the area from. Yeah, that covers A pretty well. B point, yeah, it got steamrolled really quickly. We played it 3 rounds and we had like 15 players total. It just got steamrolled like really quickly every single round. I feel like that's probably because of spawn times. Just like A point is right there, and then so B point or blue just like kind of floods in through the area, and by the time they're attacking the point, sorry about the barking dogs, I can't control them and they're not mine. By the time blue even arrives on the point, red like is nowhere to be found. Like, okay, so this is the best point to defend B from, is up on top of this roof, because you have some pretty good, you know, sights onto the point where like it's difficult to be countered, but you can be countered from like snipers and stuff, and you can still be countered from spies and stuff, and it's like the best point to defend from. And maybe even it's okay that there's like a drop down here, but it's not advertised at all to red team that that's the best point to attack. And eventually, inevitably, they'll find that, sure, like I did, but like I feel like maybe lower respawn times for red, just so it's like a little bit easier. And then I was also thinking maybe make it even a bit easier to keep this position a little bit more. I say that because blue team, they have this route that goes back here that completely avoids all sight lines into that area, and then they get a stairwell which is completely avoiding all sight lines directly like on top of the capture point, and I feel like it's way too overpowered. Like they already are so quick onto the point, and now red team, they don't even like get a chance to set up anywhere because blue already has like the advantage on top of them. And I think that's okay, but it feels like all of the combat defending B is happening back here and on these doors, and blue is just already on the point. I kind of feel like you should like maybe get rid of this log, get rid of this stone, and maybe this stone, maybe. Get rid of this one for sure, but then take these rocks here and lower them into the ground. So that way you still get this like low back area, which is kind of sectioned off from at least some sight lines back there, just so you can kind of like exit and kind of jump on the rocks and poke your head over, and it'd be kind of interesting. But then also you are hit by sight lines of defenders standing back here or up on top of here, just so they go, oh my god, there's like people like a medic and a soldier and a pyro just came through here, and then you're just kind of ready for them, you know? You could even kind of shout to your team that that's coming. This room does feel a little bit claustrophobic, I would say, but it's a little bit tricky to say because I really haven't played on this too much. But I would say, like, if you got rid of that sight line, or if you added a sight line from here to here, maybe lowered respawn times on red team, I feel like that would help a lot. It's not a lot, but it would help a little bit, I feel like, especially the respawn times. I don't know what they are right now. I would have to, like, capture a point, and then you could do, like, MP show respawn times. But, you know, I'd have to capture a point before I do that. I'll talk about C now. C generally felt pretty good. Yeah, it generally felt okay. I like that there's like a lot of like varying heights where people could be attacking from. It did feel a bit weird that the main route was like shrouded by this big metal fence, especially, sorry, my game lagged. If anybody was coming in through this doorway, you assume that the main doorway is behind there, but you don't really know. And you could cover that up, like, I mean, not cover it up, but you can like kind of help with that with detailing, like if you had like a light showcasing down there. But it feels a little strange that it's like so covered up. Like I kind of wonder if you should remove like one plank or something, or maybe it's fine. Yeah, it's just a little weird. A little weird they have this wooden sign, a wood sign in an industrial plant on the ground with an arrow pointing towards the point, I guess. Oh, I do want to say that I like that there's this a really unique flanking path that attackers just kind of get, and then they get that, but then they have to kind of push into really low ground. That's really interesting. I do want to say before I forget that I think this shot here makes it look like this room has too short of a ceiling, and I think you should raise the ceiling up like at least 384 units and raise the windows up that high too. It just feels like I'm in like a basement as opposed to an industrial facility. But I like the geometry of this. I like the Ghost in the Shell, Alien Swarm elevator too. I like that. I like that a lot. There must be a name for that. Anyway, you know what I mean. Yeah, you should probably nerf this health pack to like a medium or maybe even a small, because the respawn room is right here. So like, I don't know. It just seems really weird that you'd give all this power to the attackers to like spawn camp. Like, it's not like they're able to really do that for too long. It just seems really weird. You know what I mean? Just like why? So okay, I would generally say that, yeah, as I mentioned, combat feels okay here. I have a suggestion though, which is to have the lower area more incorporated into the combat, and then also having blue team able to funnel themselves a little bit easier into this room, which is to actually increase the width of this back room back here, and then have a drop down from this room into the lower area, like right here. So that'd help kind of deal with this balance of reducing the health pack, which I feel like you wanted to have attackers down here a little bit defending, or like at least able to like recoup down here. And I think it'd be really cool if there's a general battle for control of last between two sides of last, where defenders were like exiting their spawn and defending from back here, and they're like trying to like, they would be retreating from that general direction up in this direction, with their back against this wall, like shooting pipe bombs and stuff, and like helping out their friends and like defending from back here, and maybe even at that point make this like not just a resupply room door or something, and then like it leads into this like spy closet, which is a big spy closet or something, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I feel like that could be kind of like an interesting battle scenario if like I was constantly trying to defend from here instead of just from like that door there and that door there. And then there is the door here, but it just feels like they're really weird and disconnected, and it doesn't really feel like everyone's like kind of coming in from a general battle line. And I mean, you could maybe experiment with having another door that leads from over into here and then into here or something. I'm not sure if that's necessary though. I just think like if that room was a bit bigger, then you could kind of like push a little bit into this big massive room, hide behind some wall, put like a teleporter or something, and try to defend it a little bit. It's kind of like that room from Dust Bowl looking onto B point, or onto B point of second stage, you know what I mean? Where it's like there's the long tunnel, and then they have like a gate, which would be like basically this one-way door, which kind of looks into like a flank of the area. I don't know. I feel like if you lost low and like red team was all streaming into low, you're kind of like stuck against this wall. I don't know. I feel like that could be cool. It'd be hard to defend from, and people would be like just easily streaming out of here. Oh, this ammo pack placement felt a little strange. That like there's no ammo on last at all, but there's a large up here. Oh, I guess there's a large down there, but I don't know. It felt a bit weird. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, if there wasn't another, if there was not a route that led from here to here, or maybe there was, I don't know. I'm just thinking that if there wasn't a route that led from here to here, but it was just like a larger area where, red team kind of had to throw themselves into to then try to attack the point from, which is kind of similar to that cave from Dust Bowl, but I guess it's a little harder to get into. I just feel like it'd be a bit more interesting of a battle, where instead of just like, as I mentioned, instead of just kind of like always defending from the same locations, dynamically blue is just sprawling into this area and you're losing ground like from down here and stuff. I feel like you'd have to like kind of keep pushing and pulling through these areas for control and stuff, and I feel like it'd just be a bit more interesting. I know that that's not very good feedback. It's not like black and white, you know, this is good and this is bad, or spawn times are this and pickups are bad, or whatever. I mean, other than a little bit, but I don't know. We really didn't play with that many players. As I mentioned, only like 15 players total. I guess I just need to play the map a bit more, and I wonder if you don't even need to make those changes to C right now for the next version, but maybe just like keep it in mind of maybe thinking about how to make the battle on C a bit more interesting if it doesn't feel that way. And then maybe just for the next version, make those changes to A point and then B point a little bit, and then just kind of see how teams are controlling areas. Yeah, I don't know, because C point felt better than the other points, and I think it felt okay, and it felt pretty unique. But yeah, it could have been a bit better. I would also say the lighting on the map was a bit ugly. It's just the shadows are a little bit too dark, and the lighting is a bit too bland. And I've heard a lot of people say, oh, lighting doesn't matter on alphas. Well, if it's bland and it looks bland, then I feel like the map is bland, and then I am just in a worse, mood that I don't really want to play it. And I feel like that's important, and you can help that with just like increasing the brightness of the light, or I think if you had HDR on the map, I don't know how big the map file is. I can go check, but HDR on alpha is not unheard of. A lot of older alphas of maps used to do that. I don't know why it's just not common anymore. Yeah, I guess that's it. Looking forward to your next iteration. I hope this was helpful, at least a little bit. I guess, see ya. Thanks for listening.